So I will start with the press statement. This is response to the press statement made by His Excellency Juuk, the Governor of Jonglei State, at Jonglei State Coordination Office in Juba on January the 9th, 2025. The Governor's press statement caught me by surprise yesterday when my plane touched down at Juba International Airport from an official leave. It was unfortunate that this coincided with January 9th, the historical day in which the comprehensive peace agreement was signed that granted this beloved Republic of South Sudan a worldwide recognition. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, first and foremost, I would like to apologize to the citizens of Jonglei State for responding on media platform, which is not where state administrative issues should be addressed. But I'm compelled to do so as response to few things that were touched by the governor. His statement was released outside of the state jurisdiction, which is unconstitutional, non-administrative, but above all, not in line with the government business procedures. Moreover, his behaviors are inconsistent with the spirit of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflicts in the Republic of South Sudan in 2018, as he always makes unilateral decisions without consulting the stakeholders. In relation to the state PIT, that is personal income tax, dear press members, the PIT in question is being generated from the national staff working for international and national NGOs within the territory of Jonglei State. Frankly speaking, the two bank statements provided by the governor to the press are incorrect. Comparatively, the right figures from reliable sources such as Financial Intelligence Unit, and you can verify this from Central Bank of South Sudan, that from June 1st to December 6th of 2024, Jonglei State received $542,079 at cooperative bank account number is included here, and $1,142,397 at EcoBank. Also, the number is included, totaling to $1,684,494 US, making an average of $336,898 per month. But it is also believed that the state PIT is over $450,000 per month, as are other known banks where money is being channeled to. However, the Deputy Governor, who is the Chief Administrator of the state, and the State Minister of Finance, who is the custodian, do not have access to the state transactions and financial statements. Pertaining the Deputy Governor's 2 cars rent, they have not been paid for 7 months, and so are other claims such as house rent and support. Furthermore, the governor mentioned that he pays for 6 advisors, but in reality, the state has only 5 advisors who are officially appointed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Sudan. It is important to note that the PIT accounts are being managed by people assigned by the governor, including Mr. Mike Yak Daurial, who works with Ministry of Higher Education, Mr. John Kim Chuol, Nirol County Coordinator, and John Okot Matthew, I believe a CID or whoever officer hired at the coordination office. Moreover, the governor mentioned the amount of $60,000 for security, of which $27,000 is for 75 troops stationed at the other gang. This statement surprised those who are in charge and raised concern. To whom does he give this money to? Division Commander, Director for National Security, Director for CID, or Police Commissioner? If there is such money, why has the state been struggling to support the security organs in fuel, food, and petrol vehicle maintenance, to combat crimes by gang stroke crews within its territory? And why does the state not prioritize developmental projects and services to its people? Now, the other part is the state block transfer from the national government in Juba. The block transfer from the National Ministry of Finance to the state account at Central Bank does not reach perfectly to the state due to interferences by the governor. For example, the deputy governor asked him several times about the transfer of 2 billion SSP for the fiscal year of October 2023 salaries from the National Ministry of Finance to Jonglei state account at Central Bank, where only authorized 1 billion SSP salary of state workforce reached the state and omitted 1 billion for operating costs, and Chapter 3, which is for capital expenditure, PIT, and pension fund of the state workforce. The governor lacks transparency and single-handedly manages the state resources in the bank, at the Ministry of Finance, the state coordination office in Juba, in his house where millions of pounds and thousands of dollars are kept, taking away the role of State Ministry of Finance, as he acts as the Minister, Director for Revenues, Chief Administrator, and Governor. He has not clarified why he submitted the incomplete financial report of November 1st to November 22nd to the media outlets, and intentionally omitted the other 6 months that he has been the governor of Jonglei State. Other relevant political issues in the state. Our governor is always intimidating political leaders through suspension, withholding financial support, denying them mobility and accommodations. In regard to the state civil workforce, the governor deprived their rights by treating them on the assumption of political allegiance. On December 17, 2024, the governor unilaterally suspended the State Minister of Finance in violation of the agreement and undermining directives of His Excellency the President that constitutional post holders should not be suspended by the state governors during the 7th and 8th Governors Forum. However, the governor did it to have a leeway to mismanage the salary of month of November and December. Recommendations. I am requesting the national legislature, particularly the Council of States, to intervene and rescue the alarming situation in Jonglei State by exercising their oversight roles. Second, I am appealing to the Audit Chamber of South Sudan to exercise their mandate and audit the financial management in Jonglei State, starting from June to December of 2024. I am requesting the Bank of South Sudan and commercial banks to avail to us any operating accounts in the name of Jonglei State. Finally, I urge the great people of Jonglei State, who have always been patriotic, peace-loving, and resilient, to remain calm, united as one people, while relevant institutions of the government are looking into these issues. Thank you. That is all about today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to commit, or we are going to allow you, 5 of you, to ask only 5 questions. And don't be afraid, we are going to serve you with a coffee. So we shall begin with you.
Yes, my name is Sandro, a freelance journalist. I work at Ibareko. Your Excellency, thank you for the eloquent statement that you have given. Given the fact that yesterday the governor gave a statement aside his side of the story, you again come with another side of the story. And this seems to be an administrative thing. Does it mean that these differences is more political, given the fact that you come from the SPLM and he represents the South Sudan political, the OVP? Is it something to do with the political differences that is leading to this? And why haven't you first sat down with the governor and solved it administratively, like in your house, before coming out to the media? Thank you.
My name is Simon Deng, I work for the Dawn newspaper. My question is, yesterday, according to the way PIT is using it, like the PIT is being given to the governor, the deputy governor, the ministers in the council, then the members of parliament, and that is good. Does the state really have the budget? And how much is the budget? Is that how PIT should be used?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Manyang David Mayar. Yesterday, the governor actually said, as the deputy governor, you received about $22,000 US. You are coming out here saying that all what he said is not true. Are you not receiving that amount?
Thank you so much, Honorable. My name is Kuchlong, Madal Kuchlong from Makunatang Media. Since yesterday the governor have said his truth, today you have come back with your truth again. Did you guys have a meeting before any priest?
Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Sheila. At the moment, the whole world and South Sudan knows that our government is working under one unity, which is the transitional government of national unity. But again, the government of Jonglei is showing the whole world that there is nothing called transitional government of national unity. Because even yesterday when we saw the governor, we thought both of you would be together to give such statement. But now today you're giving a different statement, and yesterday it's different. What is happening within the Jonglei? Are you working together, or this is totally different administration? Thank you.
Any burning issues? I think we have exhausted the 5 questions. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Okay, now the first one was from Santo. Yes, you asked about, especially focusing on our working relationship and the differences. As I mentioned earlier, when I arrived, that's when I was surprised by the press release yesterday at 1 o'clock. But of course, in any, whether institution, whether it is family, there are always going to be differences, even members of the same political parties. So those are inevitable. And I would say that Jonglei is not different from that. But of course, there are some instances where such disagreements had come up. But of course, I thought those will be dealt with at the level of the state. But when this came out, the way all of you saw, I felt that I had also to tell the side of the story from how I look at it. In terms of parties, there are, of course, differences, but in Jonglei State, we have always tried to work together, to forge those relationships. Because irrespective of our political differences, we always say that when we are in government, we are one government. When we are out of the government, we are supposed to play our party roles or whatever they are. So yes, there could be party differences, or there are, yes. But in this regard, if you look, these are interests of the people of Jonglei State. When you look at the resources, this is nothing to do with SPLM, SWA, OPP, or which is the other party? SWA, OPP, SPLM, IO, and SPLM. So this is nothing to do with the parties. This is purely to do with how we are running the state. So if he was from my party, or it will still be the same result. So this is purely to do with the state resources, and this is my response. Otherwise, I would not have brought my differences here with him. Simon Deng, he was asking how the way we are using PIT, if that is how it is supposed to be used. I don't know if you asked His Excellency the Governor yesterday, or you did not ask, because clearly, as you saw in his document, he is the one who puts, he gives this, he gives that, he gives that. He is the overall at the end of the day. I come as the Deputy Governor. And in such situations, or in the past where I intervene and ask what we have in the state, all he tells me is that the state produces $48,000. And now, that is why I started doing my own investigation. Because I could not imagine that in the whole state, we get 48 million. So first of all, $48,000. So first of all, we have to know what comes. And when what comes, what are our priorities? But when the government doesn't sit down, and one person believes that it is my money, I can manage it, this is where the problem comes. But when everybody sits and think of priorities, services, which gap do we need to fill? This is where now I can answer how we are supposed to use it. But if I'm not involved as the chief administrator, how am I supposed to put my input on how we should use the money? So that is what I can say. That question can be answered by His Excellency the Governor. And I cannot tell you, because I'm far from the money and how it is supposed to be used. The other issue that came up is the issue of $22,000. I will say that this is not true, and I mentioned it there, and I will mention it again. If I say 7 months, my car rent has not been paid, and I have the proof. Among those, that is one of the things that came up. My house, I don't have a house that is being paid in Juba. Probably my accommodation, when I come for 3 days, 4 days, that one I can admit that yes, I do stay, I'm accommodated. But I go back, and but I don't have any house rent that comes. That one is not true. 7 months has not been paid for my 2 private cars that are being rented because I don't have a government car. And this is not starting with me. All the previous officials, they have the right for their vehicles, at least something to be paid for those vehicles, if the government has not given you. And this is the situation. So it is not being paid for 7 months. So it is not true, what has been mentioned there. The other one from Kuilong is, did you guys have a meeting before?
Before the
No, I arrived yesterday, and we did not have a meeting. But in regards to the issue of PIT, is that what you refer to?
Yeah.
Okay, in regards to this, I have brought it up several times, telling His Excellency that first, how much, please, can you do it outside? I asked His Excellency what really comes to the state. And that question is always difficult. We have talked about it a few times. At some point, of course, he told me it's 48,000. I told him, Your Excellency, I don't want to know what comes anymore. You can manage it, you are the head of the state. But I want us to allocate something for security, something that we can both have access to. So yes, I have brought it up a few times. But when there was resistance, where I could not get the real amount, that's when I came and did my own findings. So when he came out, he was already aware that I know what comes. because I confirmed to him that I have found out that there's another account that you've never told me about, the cooperative one, because he only told me the EcoBank. So I told him I have discovered that there is this account, and this amount is what counts, in contrary to what you told me. So we have talked about it. It's not the first time, probably more than once we have talked about it. What was your name?
Pony.
Yeah. So asking about how the world will see the way we are working relationship in Jonglei state. It is unfortunate, this is what I will say, because it is like when you are in a house, whether you are a family, married people. In this case of Jonglei, of course, there is nothing now that can be hidden anymore because it's already out there. Once it comes into the media, the phones are here, the newspaper is there, and the TV is there. It is already out. There is nothing that we can do about that. And giving different statements, at the end of the day, there is always a truth, and there's always somebody who is not speaking the truth. And like I said, if it is to do with these issues, we have the financial intelligence unit, we have central bank. This can be verified. And even partners, if some of you can even find from each county how much they bring and you add it up, it will be more than that. And some of the things that he said and I said, you can do your own investigation because you are journalists and you know how to find out the truth. So for me, at this point, it is not even about this, what people think about Jonglei. It is, first of all, I had to come out and also speak because even me, my reputation is on the line. I cannot keep quiet when somebody is going to say things that I know are not true and I keep quiet. Number two, if this will make things improve in our state so that our citizens get the services they need, so that the money is utilized in a way that it is intended for, then so be it. If the world will know about it and it will bring some changes. So for me, I feel that that is fine. We cannot do anything about it. If it was under control, I would have controlled it, but there is nothing that we can do. But I believe that my intention, because I will speak for myself, was that we all work as people of Jonglei State, the governor, the deputy governor, all the ministers, because when we work together, I believe that we can be stronger. When we work together, we can achieve greater things. So this is what I thought it would be. But if it has come to this, then this is the reality and there is nothing we can say about it. That is what it is. But moving forward, of course, we will want that Jonglei State has a better working relationship from where we are. Unless there is anything that somebody who feels that...
I just wanted to say a follow-up from your response. Most of it to me, I don't know the rest. It looks like you are being sidelined sometimes administratively. Why do you think you are sidelined in decision makings and not having to know some of the things that are happening by the governor?
Okay. You are right. It is not new, and that is how I have felt. And the reason Jonglei State has been peaceful for the last 7 months since the governor was appointed is because I took that position where I had to suffer in silence and just take whatever comes in the name of peace. But you know, sometimes it comes to a place where you feel that I am better than that. I can do something to change the situation. So yes, I feel like I'm sidelined. And this is to do with where, I don't know about all the states, but it's where that maybe the head of the state feels that, or I mean state, like not as a country, but I mean like Jonglei State, for example, when one feels that there's this sense of entitlement where you feel as governor, I must be the only decision maker, and you cannot allow other people also to contribute. This is where I feel the problem is. Because, for example, if I'm a governor, the way those money are allocated, according to the document you have, it is written there, giving this, but who gives it? Is it anything connected to Ministry of Finance? Is it even done by the council? Does the assembly even know what is happening? Of course not. I just wake up, I go to the bank, I say, bring $50,000, give 10 to this, give this to this. It is like a donation. You just give, and this is not how the system of the government works. You cannot like distribute money like a personal property. There has to be a system. If something is going out, it has to be known by the government. So this is what has happened. So the issue of sideline is not the first time. It has been reflected in different areas. The reason I focus on the finances is because it's what came up. So it is not new. There are other situations where that has been seen. And I don't want to speak for myself because it will look like I am defending myself. But this is something that has been observed by people who even work in the state. So it is not new that I am sidelined. It has been there in decisions. Because if you look at this, what is the role of deputy governor? Is it to go and sit in the office and receive visitors? What is it? It is administrative. And what is administration without finances? If even the money that remains from the salaries, I don't know the summary because I don't know where it goes to. So those are examples. So I think that's what I wanted to. Who else?
I think by this
I need one minute.
we'll allow clarification of you and then follow.
Mine is separate. You can-
Yeah, thank you. My name is Wadeng Albino from Malmoko, the Arabic newspaper. My question goes to the former governor. We don't hear before conflict between you and former government. Do you think the former government is better than the current one? And another question about why you still renting the car. Where is the government Jonglei cars?
Thank you.
I also does need any clarity.
Yes.
All these issues that is going on, about the finance, and also about the way you guys are running the state. I just going down to the local people. How is it trickling on your services to the people? Thank you.
Okay.
You.
The last one. Okay.
Yes, I'm confident from hearing
Yes.
Yeah, while the governor was giving the statement yesterday, he didn't point an accusing finger at you. He didn't accuse you for any wrongdoing. But now in the statement, you are blaming him and accusing you of any say corruption. Because you're being transparent, that's corruption. So do you agree that both of you offend the people of Jonglei State, and therefore their trust for you is hanging on the balance?
The last one. Last one.
Thank you for the chance. My question is a bit different from the issue of the PIT. You did mention about it was 27,000 for Biafra troop. But my point is that this was a communal fight and the government deployed forces. How many troops are there? And what is the government doing to resolve that matter? Because there was an agreement for the community to bring the culprit to book. How is that situation?
Okay. Now, the first one is how I worked with the former governor. During these 10 states of that we are in, I came in as Minister of Health and then Animal Resources. That was one of that, the leadership of the former governor. And of course, as a minister, it is a different kind of interaction with the governor himself. When you are a minister, you perform your duties, but when you are a deputy governor, you are directly under him. and administratively, you have to work together. So when I was appointed, that was in March, and he was there in April. He came to Juba in May. I was acting there until he was relieved. So I will not say that we had worked for long with him. That is what I can say about my working relationship with him. In terms of better or not better, I'm not the one to answer that. And the issue of car rental, the former deputy governor had a car that he was officially given by His Excellency the President, General Atong Kuol Manyang Juuk. So when he was relieved, he left with that car. So when I came in, there was no any other car. That is why we rent the car. And as a deputy governor, I cannot move with one car. This is not something that I wish as a person, but this is something that comes with the title and whatever I'm given. I cannot move. And I cannot go and walk. Sometimes there are places I have to use a car for things to be done. The local people, of course, are affected by this, because that PIT, last time there was this question of if it can be brought to the national, but all the states wanted it to remain there at the level of the state. That's what all the governors wanted. That is what all of us want. And the reason as to why we wanted that PIT was, of course, to bridge that gap. There are things that we cannot do now in this economic situation. The money that comes, whatever budget we have, is not enough to do any other thing in real sense, like bigger things. But the PIT, if put into proper use, like in the past, there are times where it was used even for maybe things like renovation of offices. You can even renovate the houses of, all the officials. We can even build our own secretariat. We can do other things in the county. So hospitals in some places, we can start something in a period of 6 months or so. With that money, we can build something for the people, or a school where we feel that there has to be a school. Because we cannot always rely on what the partners will do for us. We can also try to do something that we must be proud of, and that our people can be proud of at the state level. So yes, it affects us. If we cannot manage it well, then there is no point as to why it was left to be there with us in the state. And that is the one. The other one was, who was that one? That one I did not accuse me. But when he said he gives, for example, $22,000 in that statement to the deputy governor, I believe I'm the deputy governor. So that is already by itself my title, without mentioning their names. And when you look also at him releasing this statement about finances, it is because of our previous conversation. We know that is not the truth. Even the issues of security that were mentioned, that is not the truth. And there is a lot of gaps there that are open. So when he touched that I do this for deputy governor, that is clearly touching on me. If there were facts, I would not even come here and talk. Although that is not how it is, something left for the activists or sometimes journalists. They are the ones who bring those things out. But in real government sense, there are some things you deal with at that level. If it was true, I would not talk. But because I know it is not the truth, and I'm the deputy governor, I had to respond in that way. Something about 27,000 USD at Biothagan. I will not cover that question here because it has a lot of details that it entails. That case is very long. 2 communities fought. People lost on both sides, 16 and 3 on the other side, like 19. There were measures put into the place. Whether they are followed or not, that is another question for another day. But of course, that issue, like I said, even there are people who ran out of the prison last time. they are not yet put back. So I cannot answer that now. If there is a need for that, it will be for another forum.
Thank you.
But that cannot be answered.
Majid is your vote.
Thank you.
You skipped one question.
Thank you.
Okay, let him say what I skipped. Huh?
She skipped.
Just say it.
Do you agree that both of you have failed administratively?
I cannot say that I have failed, personally. The reason I'm saying that I have not been given the opportunity and then I failed. If he is the governor, for example, there is no way I can go to the bank, for example now, there are things I cannot do as deputy. He has to be the one heading. I can advise him. If he takes that advice, I can say we work together. If he wants to work with me, if he wants us to do certain things, we can do together. But there are areas where now, that's why there's governor and deputy. There are things that I cannot force and manage. He has to do them, like direction of the state. First of all, it has to start from the top. If he has good plans, I support him and we'll be strong. Even if I have ideas of how I want the Jonglei state to be, and for him, this is not his view, we cannot move forward. But if the governor has a stronger vision than I don't have, I think I will be able to do what he wants, or we can move together. So I cannot at this point say that we failed. I feel that working together is different. If he doesn't work together, what am I supposed to do? Go and kneel or do what? Because I want to work with him. And like I said, there are other examples where, like last time, I don't want to go into details, but there are some activities that I do in the state, and he's out of the state, and he will work from outside the state to make decisions, and I'm there as acting governor, for example. Such situations, how do you work? He's outside, he's working. He's inside, he's working. So I have to choose. Should we go for peace and I just allow him to do what he wants? Or should I also put my head and he puts his head and we butt heads? Where do we go? It is better to allow and watch. If he wants us to work together, we can work. So personally, I don't feel I have failed. I feel that I do not have the opportunity so that it is seen whether I'm failing or succeeding. He is the head. So if there is anything, then he is the one to answer. But on my side, I can only speak for myself. And I cannot speak for him. If he has failed or he has succeeded, he is the one to say it. But for me, I feel that I have not failed. And I cannot tell you that governor has failed. It is him who knows how he is performing. So none of us at this point that I can say has failed.
Thank you.